Hi. So this week we read the book Woman at Point Zero. Personally, it was my favorite story that we've read so far. There was a lot of just like eye-opening information, and it was like interesting that it was in the form of a memoir, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then in class we were talking about just like the different questions we put up on the board, and I chose to do a free write about the role of power in this novel. And I think it's honestly just like one of the most important things to look at as you look at power and like this society that she's living in, and also like our society, like in America. Um, and while there are different aspects, I do believe that they can intertwine. It intertwines in a way, and it's a very important subject to look at throughout this novel. And first off, I want to acknowledge the fact that this novel, the setting it takes place in, is in a very heavily patriarch dominated society. And obviously, our whole world is male dominated. But I think in this book, you can clearly see it. And it's just like um, through like the examples of Furtis's, like what happens to Furtis through her life and how she's treated by men and how they view women in general is just very eye opening, and just it was honestly, some parts were just unbelievable to me. Um, I want to point out a specific passage. It is on, I have a different book than most people, but it's on page 44. It was after she was just beaten by her husband, and her face and body was swollen and bruised. So she went to her uncle for help, but her uncle told her that all husbands beat their wives, and the uncle's wife added that her husband often beat her. And like after this, they go on to tell her that like all good religious men beat their wives. And to me, like this is the first part. Like obviously she was treated bad, like, but this is her like reaching out, and I couldn't imagine someone like coming to like my father or like me going to my uncle for help about something and being told this. So this just shows to me like what little respect like men have for women and how they think that they can treat women this way. And a big part of this passage that was like actually shocking to me is that like his uncle's wife added in that it was okay and that like this is what happened. So it shows to me that like it's such like males have just like run this society for so long and like done this for so long that it's become acceptable, and that women like that are going through it, they just think it's normal. And obviously like Vertus is one of the few that has like stood up for it, but like look at what happened to her. Like it's so easy just to become a bystander to it and just accept that as your fate instead of actually standing up for yourself. And this is what his uncle's wife was doing, and what obviously most women were doing in the society, and what most women do in our society. Like things are taught to us, I feel like, and like we're raised in male dominated area like societies that we just think like we've never known anything different, if that makes sense. And I feel like it does take like someone very special to look into like what is actually going on and to take action on it, because sometimes it is a lot easier if you just remain silent and just go along with what's going on. And also just another point I want to address is that I think power is such like a big area to look into in this novel, because like mostly every encounter that Furtis has with a male is negative. Like she's usually beaten, she's treated like absolutely terribly. And some of these are like very like well respected men in society. And like so it just goes on to show like she can like she's become a prostitute, like she's looked down upon. She can do all these like things that are like frowned upon in the community. But these men can beat their wives, pay for sex, do all these things, and still hold power because of their gender and the position that they hold in society. So I guess this novel was just very eye opening in that sense too, because um, just from reading this, like I didn't grow up with a lot of this, so this was like a very like extreme case. Um, but you can see it in other like in aspects of the society that we live in today.